Thank you, everybody, for being here. It means an awful lot to me, and I know it means a lot to Roseanne. I just want to turn for a second. Damn, I'm madly in love with that woman. Everything everybody said was true, and then some. Living with Roseanne was absolutely amazing. Just watching her every day, seeing the way that she approached life, the way she solved problems, the way she took over stuff, used to drive me crazy. She did. She drove me absolutely crazy, but you know what? As weird as it sounds, I really loved that about her. Because she drove me and she made me want to be a better man. And I loved her so much. And when we first got together, it was also a business relationship. My company had hired her to be a sales representative in the Rocky Mountain Territory. And I was the VP sales, and I was tasked with going into the territory. This is before I even met her, going into the territory to work with her and train her. So I always made the joke that, with Roseanne, the first thing I did is I went in and worked the territory. She hated that whenever I said that. She just went, oh, please. Anyway, we spent a lot of time when we were working together in the car, because we were driving all through the Rockies and going to see different dealers to talk to them about our company and our business and the products that the company that we worked for made, and so on and so forth. And we got very close as friends. And we shared a lot of stuff that was going on in our lives, and the pain and the hope and all the different things that we really wanted or wished that we had in our lives. And one of those things that was really a spark for us was we wanted to have our own child. Because we were both married at the time to other people, and we had stepkids. And it just looked as if, the die was cast, and we weren't ever going to have kids of our own. But there was a spark that took place at that particular moment. And Roseanne and I fell in love with each other, and neither one of us knew it. We were still working together, and neither one of us wanted to tell the other that, oh my gosh, I have fallen so deeply in love with you, because we were both married. Anyway. Thanks. My lip is bleeding because I'm taking medication for my heart valve that thins my blood out, and it's anyway, a long story what happened, but anyway, so I'm hemorrhaging at the moment. Anyway, so Roseanne and I ended up figuring out that we were in love with each other, and we couldn't walk away from that. We just couldn't do it. And both of us, we walked away from relationships that we had that were basically history. And we got together, and we ran away together, and we decided that we were going to have a child. This was the most wanted child ever. People think, that when Roseanne and I got married, it was because she was pregnant, which was absolutely not why. That was not what was going on. We had Taylor, and Taylor was this incredibly beautiful boy. I mean, wow. Just devastatingly beautiful. And everybody said it. Everybody looked at him. A lot of people thought he was a girl. He was so beautiful in the grocery stores and things like that. And he started, babbling away and saying words, and he walked early. And we were just so excited. And then one day he stopped talking. And we didn't know why. We didn't understand it. And Roseanne said, this isn't right. There's a milestone, so classic Roseanne. There's a milestone he needs to be hitting right now, and he's not hitting it. All of a sudden, he's not talking. I said, well, let's check it out. And we went to the pediatrician. The pediatrician said, don't worry about it. A lot of kids talk late. The old story about Einstein didn't talk till he was 4 and flunked out of math, and half of that's just not true anyway. But I told Roseanne, I said, don't worry about it. It'll be all right. And then we decided to go online and do some more research. And as I was looking at the computer and scanning through this one particular website, Roseanne had walked away from the computer, and one of the words that was highlighted with a link was autism. And while Roseanne wasn't looking, I clicked on the link, and here was a list of 30 things that you look for that you may want to, if your kid has 5 or more of these, then you need to maybe look into a possible diagnosis of autism. And Taylor had almost all of them. And I just started to I just thought, my little boy, my beautiful boy, why, God? I know we're not supposed to ask why, but you know what? I did. And one day Roseanne we had somebody come to the house and gave him a diagnosis of autism, and we took him to Vanderbilt. We took him to Dr. Bill Allen, who's the expert in the area, and he said, yep, he's definitely on the spectrum, and we need to start talking about how we can address that. And one of the women said at the time, you guys need to be aware that he may never talk. And I'll never forget that Roseanne began to say things like, my little boy may never be able to tell me he loves me. So one day she was out of the house, and I was talking to God, and I fell to my face, and I said, please, God, please heal my little boy. And I heard God speak. And he wrote it on my heart. And he said, by the time he's 3, Taylor will be out of the woods. Well, it gets better. He said, now go tell Roseanne. And I thought, oh, God, you're putting me in a position where I'm going to go tell Taylor's mommy that Taylor's going to be healed of autism and that he's going to be out of the woods by the time he's 3? And of course the natural thought is, was that really God? Can I really do this? Should I be doing this? Couldn't this be one of the most damaging, devastating things that I could do to Roseanne, is to tell her that and have it not happen? And I thought about it, and I said, okay, God, here we go. If this is you, I'm going to do this. And I went and I told Roseanne, and I said, I have heard from God, and Taylor will be out of the woods by the time he's 3. And Roseanne looked at me at first like, how could you tell me that? How could you say that? And then she saw it in my eyes. And she said, I believe you. I believe you. And it was one of the most major steps in our lives, but especially for Roseanne as a step of faith. And then Roseanne kicked it into high gear. And Roseanne, her gears are higher than anybody else's, and she and I became experts on autism in about 3 weeks. We read books, we studied, we went online. We knew more about autism than doctors certainly knew about it. Even pediatricians didn't know as much as we did. And then Roseanne got him into therapy, and Roseanne took him to therapy every day in Knoxville, 5 days a week. And she spent 8 hours a day. It was a full-time job for her and Taylor. And put him through therapy and pushed and told all the therapists what they needed to be doing. And this isn't good enough. And he has to be doing better. And you've got to work harder in this situation. You're not pushing him. Push, push, push. And Taylor cried and he kicked and he screamed. But God used all of that. And he used all the therapists and all the teachers as a part of it. You saw the cake as a part of the amazing Taylor team. And everybody that was on the team, it's a big team. Everybody's on the team watched Taylor right before their very eyes walk out of the woods. And they would tell us, they'd say each day when he was in therapy, they'd say, we don't know how to tell you this, but he's mastered 3 more milestones that he wasn't supposed to master for another 30 days. We're watching this incredible thing unfold. And I would tell them, you're part of the team. You get to witness this. You get to watch God working in this little life. And so for those of you who know Taylor today, you know what God's done. It's absolutely amazing. And one day when Roseanne was doing all of this relentless, endless, taking Taylor and driving to Knoxville every day and going through all of this, and she looked like, we were driving along, and she looked like that she was going to have a breakdown. She had just pushed herself so far. And I felt like God spoke to me again and wanted me to tell her something, and I just turned to her and I said, you know what, Roseanne? I believe God just gave me a vision. And it goes kind of like this. Taylor's a grown young man, and he's standing at a podium accepting an award. And he turns and he points down to the front row and he says, were it not for this woman, I would not be standing here today talking to you and accepting this award. Well, I guess that isn't going to come true here. But I will keep the seat vacant because Taylor will be accepting an award. Because he's not the amazing Taylor because where he's come from. He's the amazing Taylor because of where he's going and what he's going to do with his life. Taylor not only got to where he could tell his mommy that he loved her, he couldn't stop telling her. Anybody who knows, he was always crawling up into her lap and saying, I love you, Mommy. I love you, Mommy. I love you so much, Mommy. God blessed Roseanne so much with that. He'd bring home cards that he made, with crayon pictures and stuff. He's now a prolific artist. He colors, dozens of pictures per day. All I know is I am so blessed. I'm so blessed to have had the time I did with Roseanne. I'm going to miss her. But she changed my life, and she taught me what I need to know now to be Taylor's dad. I'm going to take real good care of that little boy, because I know Roseanne's watching. And there's 2 things that really come out of that is, there's, God, what should I do here with this situation? And then there's the obvious second question, what would Roseanne do? What would Roseanne do? I'm going to miss her.
Thank you, Bill. Good luck.